Hello everyone, this is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski and we are at the travel show. Hooray, we love traveling. We have our friend Kathy Janes here who comes to us from Class Act Travel. Thanks for coming in, Kathy.
Thank you again for having me. This is a lot of fun and I learn a lot.
Yeah, we all do, and you do too. And we have Tom VanDorn here with us. Tom's been here before. And he comes to us from Raro. He's Director of Sales. He's going to tell us a little bit about that company, and you can learn more information. You know, that name, Raro, may not be familiar to everyone. And so sometimes I think when you're looking at those big names, you don't, you maybe don't notice that
think of us.
Other individual names. So this is great because that is from last time talking. I mean, there's some wonderful opportunities, and Raro is a little bit different. So
we are a little bit different.
Yeah, so it's going to be great.
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to see you both again. Raro actually means rare or uncommon in Italian.
Oh.
And that's because our trips are rare and uncommon. They're really unique, and I call on travel agents. Kathy's one of the best. And when I'm doing that, of course, there are many competitors out there, and so we have to distinguish ourselves. Why us? Who are you guys? That kind of thing. We don't advertise to the trade, so a lot of people don't know who we are. We basically do it through social media, getting the word out. We're not new. We've been around for 8 years. But again, it's my job really to educate the travel agency community on who we are, what we do. And what we do is basically offer trips to 4 different destinations. And you can ask me why in a minute. To Greece, Umbria, and Sardinia, both in Italy, and the Philippines.
Oh, well,
that's a strange,
exactly.
That's like a red herring kind of thing.
And that is really because, for a couple of reasons, really the owners of the company, the founders, they know these places very well, they love them, but the main reason is that they have incredible contacts there. And you cannot run tours like we do, which are unique, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, without having the people on the ground who know everybody and the people on the ground know us. And so it just makes for a very interesting environment that we work in. And so it makes our trips special. So do you want me to tell you about them?
I would love you. Okay. I do remember some things from last time, but not all. So, I mean, you can just get started with whatever you're comfortable with, but what makes it unique? Why is it different than the other travels agencies?
Sure, it's a very good question. And quite a few things. I think number one is our trips are small. We never take more than 20 people on any trip. And a lot of travel advisors who've been on us say to us that your trips feel private. Because they're not private, of course, anybody can go on them. We don't take children, by the way, I should point that out now. Children, just because, and I'll mention this too, the trips are just not conducive to young kids because of walking, some of the wineries and wine tastings that we do. So maybe 18, 19 would be the youngest, or oldest teenager, the youngest we would take. But the trips are unique because the people on the ground work for our company. A lot of tour operators, there are many out there. They basically hire people on the ground, destination management companies, and those people then are hired out to do their groundwork. We don't hire any of those. The people on the ground doing our tours work for our company. They work for Raro.
Oh, they do.
And as you can imagine, when you're with people who work for the company, it makes a difference.
It does.
And again, those people on the ground, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So in those places, we might take people to it'd be no different, Sue, than if you were bringing in, say, 15, 16 people, family of yours, from all over the world into Paysites. You would want to take them to the places that you know that are incredible. It could be a mom and pop hole-in-the-wall restaurant, but you know the food is fabulous. The people know you because you're in there all the time. They're cooking for you. They're sitting with you. This is how our trips are. They're very
personal.
They're very personal. They're as authentic as you can get, and people love that. So number one, the trips are small, never more than 20. 2, they're fully escorted. So we have 2 people on the ground who are local. They're from there, who are with the group the entire time. And so there's really never an opportunity for a guest to, have an issue, because you would just say I'm with you 2 and you work for Raro. I would just mention something to you and you would fix it, or if I didn't want to do a dinner one night, my wife and I just want to chill or not have the next, just ask you, and sure, no problem, as long as you're not missing the next destination, no problem. So they're very casual, they're very relaxed, and another key component too is all the meals are ordered off the menu, and that's unique. because normally you've had buffets almost every day,
Wedding food, everything is the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, ours, there's nothing skimpy, there's nothing second rate, there's nothing cookie cutter whatsoever about our trips. They're all unique in that way. So one thing, we're taking people to places that are off the beaten path, like Umbria, Sardinia, and even in Greece as an example. We don't do Mykonos, Santorini, because every other tour operator does those. So we'll go to, we do Athens, of course, but we'll go to the island of Hydra, which I don't know if you're familiar with it. People love it. It's kind of a getaway for celebrities and artists. It's only got about, I think, 2,000 inhabitants, but it's beautiful. Its atmosphere is unique. Just incredible stone mansions and just a really atmospheric nightlife that people really love. So we do that. It's about an hour and a half ferry, roughly 2 hours from Athens. So that's a unique thing just for Athens, for the Greece trip. But then Umbria and Sardinia alone, most people, again, in Italy is extremely popular. Kathy knows better than I do. But people are normally going to Tuscany, Florence, Venice, all the places we all know.
Right.
Well, we don't do those because everybody does those.
Right.
So we'll go to Umbria, and Umbria, I'm telling you, it's right next to Tuscany. So it looks very similar, rolling hills, green, but it's far less touristy. And we go to some of the most charming, beautiful little villages and cities in Italy, or in the world for that matter. So again, people who've been on us and been on our trips, they all come back, whether they've been to Italy before and wanted something different, or they wanted bragging rights to their friends because they haven't done this. They come back saying, "Wow, this was incredible." I mean, and the thing that is unique, and again, I can't overstate this, because the people on the ground work for our company, and the people that we're bringing the guests to know us very, very well, and the connections are incredible. So we're doing things. We have access sometimes to things that no one else can. We don't. So all the things typically that you would associate with group travel, meaning long lines, 40-seat coaches, name badges, lanyards, held up signs, all that kind of stuff. We don't do any of that stuff. Our trips are, again, they're small, they're relaxed, and they're just in a way that feels, like I said earlier, feels private. So again, another thing, let's see, the food, the smallness, the fact that two of us are with them the entire time. Those are just a few of the things that make, but again, the key thing, I think, is where we're taking the guests to. And I think this is important to let you know too. Just the week prior to departure, the founders of the company will have a powwow with the people on the ground, and they'll look at who comprises this group. Where are they coming from? What are their ages? By the way, our median age is 50 to 55.
Okay.
We get people in their early 20s all the way into the 80s. And believe me, as you can imagine, a lot of the 80-year-olds, they run rings around the younger one. It's unbelievable. I mean,
It's true, yeah.
It's incredible. And some of these have a lot of walking, too. So they really enjoy that.
Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought. So basically, in a nutshell, they're unique for many reasons. And the fact that people love them is because we're going to places that the locals go. And they're going to places that aren't the tourist traps. They're going to where they know that they're just unique places.
It just sounds so much more authentic. Like if you actually want to know the country, I think a lot of people want to go to the big, they want to go to the Rome and the Florence and all those because that's what you've heard of.
Sure.
And that's, the big
What you do.
attractions there,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's what you do. But particularly if you've been there before, you might want a more authentic trip. Or if you've never been there before, you might want to know, what does it really look like? I mean, not everybody lives in Rome or Milan
Exactly.
or whatever. You're seeing more real living, I
You're
would think.
exactly right. And that's, honestly, we do that. That is by design. In fact, we're all about the experience. We're not about just a touristy thing where you're just going to see this building and see this museum. That's not us. Even when we've got 7 and 10 night trips, I should say this, 7 and 10 night trips to Umbria, Sardinia, and Greece. And the 10 nights include 3 nights in Rome for the Italy ones and 3 nights in Athens. But even in Rome, it's not an in-depth Rome trip like you would normally find if that's what you wanted to focus on. Of course, we'll see the Vatican and we'll do other things like that, but it's really more focused about just the genuineness, the experience. And as you can imagine, this is what's really, people love this too. Because the people are on the ground and they're our employees. So we're walking, we'll see the 40-seat coach over here with people, doing their thing. But our host we'll be walking with a small group, and he might say, "Oh, you see over there that hill over there? I went to high school right over there. Or my
that's
aunt lives."
cool. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then when they're eating, as you can imagine, they're going to these places. Some are easily 5-star. And others might be just more of a hole in the wall that's an incredible experience too.
But that's the ones that have the best food.
They
The hole
can,
in the
yeah,
wall.
I can
really
honestly
can,
tell you,
yeah.
Kathy, if I've heard the only complaint, and I'm not exaggerating, the only complaint I get from travel advisors when they come back from a trip, or that they say their clients express to them, it's that how much weight they gain. And I'm not exaggerating.
Sounds like a cruise.
Because I'm serious, because as you can imagine, a lot of the meals, they're all ordered off the menu, and a lot of the people that are handed a menu and think, what do we do with this? Because it's unique.
Well, it's not typical, no.
It's not
Yeah.
what you get.
And I
right?
didn't mention this. Everything's included. So, and this is a big deal. So we don't do international air. So a guest will have to get to Italy or Athens or the Philippines. But once you arrive, absolutely everything is included. So all meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even on a free day, and we have plenty of free time if people want that free time, we'll let them know that, by the way, we're going to meet at such and such at around noon or 1 o'clock, so if you want to join us for lunch. So all meals are included, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and everything.
That is so unusual for a company in Europe to do that. We only have one all-inclusive in the United States, and it's like $2,000 a person a day, which is crazy.
Oh, yes, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can go for a day.
And it's but
But
with
you're-
yours, that's just amazing to me that they do it overseas.
Yeah.
And you know something, Kathy, you're exactly right. And you know something too. From a travel agent's point of view, we're, even from the client's point of view, it's a very, very easy trip to book because everything is done. In fact, a lot of people doing what Kathy does has told me, I could never put a trip like this together because they wouldn't know what to do.
No,
they
where to
wouldn't
start,
do
you,
it.
wouldn't,
yeah.
and you don't have the experience.
And,
so-
and honestly, I wish I could portray this better, but every day I'm making presentations, and it's impossible to put in a brochure or on a website exactly how unique our trips are because they're fluid, and that's why I'm saying when we have this powwow, we'll look at who's coming, and then we might say, well, let's use this particular property, or let's go to this restaurant instead of that based on this. Or during the trip, we'll mention to the group, oh, by the way, you guys seem to really like what we did yesterday or last night, so we're thinking of switching this tonight to this. What do you guys think? And they'll typically say, whatever you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know.
And so
Yeah,
they're
sounds
very
good.
much like that. And in
Yeah.
fact, even the week of departure of the trip, that's when the guests will get a final document of their trip. Normally it would be earlier, but the reason that is because we're constantly tweaking it, because again, it'd be like if you were getting ready for family coming in all over the world. You'll be running around doing it exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's just what we're doing. So the week of departure, usually Monday or Tuesday, the guest will get from the host in the ground in the country, a document. Everything is laid out. Their contacts are there. And from that point on, and when they're in the country, they will communicate when they're not together on WhatsApp. So in the evening, after they split up, after a late dinner maybe, well then the guest will receive a document. Just tomorrow we're going to do this and do that. So if you have any questions,
Kind of think about it a little bit.
and that's what people really love. It's the camaraderie. This is another big deal too. And I know everybody can say this, but it's true, that because our trips are small, and because they're with two people local, and they're eating together, they're ordering together, and they're sharing some are maybe a family style, they bond extremely well. And some of these people, I just had a travel advisor tell me that their client who was with us, she booked with us, bonded so well with that group that they're all going again.
Oh my
That's
To a
God.
cool.
different destination.
Wow.
I mean,
And they
it's-
didn't know each other
They
to
didn't
start
know
with.
each other. And this happens all the time. They just continue to WhatsApp each
Wow.
other. So that's what makes our trips so unique.
What kind of places do you stay in when you're traveling?
Great question. And this is another, I'll give you a unique part of it. In Sardinia, particularly, we'll do some agriturismos, which they're gorgeous settings, usually remote, farm-to-table meals. They're like a farm stay in a way, but they're gorgeous, very small places. And people love that because it is different. Typically, we'll stay in 5-star properties where there are some, often there aren't. So we'd never go below a 4. 4.5 usually is the minimum that we'll ever do. And that would, like an agriturismo. And keep in mind, those are, people love that because the people hosting that, working there, owning it, it's farm to table. So it's, their animals, their wine, they're cooking for us breakfast, these incredible breakfasts at that place. So it's, everything about it is unique and local. And when it comes to authentic, whether it's the mom and pop restaurants or the museums, we don't have to stand in line for a guide to take us to a museum. We've got our own guides who are with us too, and they know these places extremely well. So it's just the access through the connections. And by the way, people have asked me too, are you adding? We're looking at New Zealand, France, and Turkey coming on next. Those connections are in place. And the reason we don't have a lot more destinations is because you cannot run tours like this all over the world without having that integrity, with having the base in place, because they're what make the trip.
Right.
Those people on the ground. So,
Those people.
So we don't have a lot, and in a way, it people look at it. Well, it doesn't seem like a typical. Sometimes I get a brochure from a tour company. It's got 200 places in it. True. And that's not us. That's why if you want something that for 7 or 10 nights or 12 nights to the Philippines, that you'll never forget. That's where we come in, and so it's just getting
How
the
does
word
your
out.
pricing differ from other tour groups?
Well, I get a lot of bookings from travel advisors, and again, they're booking. That's my job, is calling on them, from people who do not want to pay top dollar. So they might consider a higher priced company, but the client won't. I don't want to spend that much. We're pretty much right in the middle of the road,
Okay.
and that's not even considering that we're all inclusive. So I'd say out of 1 to 5, we'd be kind of a 3, 2.5, 3.
That's great.
And
do that.
especially and then you add the all-inclusive aspect, it's much
really.
better. But that's
It's a much
general.
better value.
The value is incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the word value, because ultimately that's what it's all about. And I would say we don't use the word luxury to describe ourselves on the website or any other place. They don't want me to use that word because it's subjective, and we don't want to mislead anyone to think that we're only the Ritz or Four Seasons or something like that,
Yeah,
and priced, but we're not. Although we do use like Peninsula and incredible hotels and different. So but having said that, I would say that, and again, I work for some of the best tour operators, airlines, Air New Zealand for a long time, and other companies in the business for 30 years. I can honestly say this: I have never worked for a company whose product on the ground, the experience on the ground, gets as many rave comments as this one. And I don't say that lightly, because
No.
all of them have been great.
Sure.
It's just it's got a unique appeal to it that you can't just replicate it overnight, and that's what makes it really neat.
How do you get from place to place? Because you're traveling around the countryside.
Sure.
What's your transportation?
Well, it varies. Generally speaking, we're on the ground, we use Mercedes vehicles with leather interior, a 20-seat van normally, because that's the max that we carry, and people really love that. And again, so no 40-seat coaches, nothing like that. And by the way, we don't ever herd the guests. They never feel herded. Typically our days start at 9 a.m. So it's not like, make sure you got your bags out at 6 or anything.
Yeah.
We're not like that. We're like family.
Yeah.
It's very much like that. So, but then between, say, Athens and Hydra, we would take the ferry, and that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then in, say, the Philippines, or in between Rome and Sardinia, that's a flight, and that's included. So everything, again, once you get there, everything's included. So in the Philippines, we have a number of flights because we do 5 different islands, and ferries, a combination. Those are included as well. So we just book that internally. So again, once you arrive, once you're identified with us, and this is another cool thing, we don't do the welcome dinner the first night, because sometimes somebody could miss a flight or the flight's disconnected or whatever. So we do it the second night. But even on that first day, again, mentioning like family, if everybody's arriving, and guests can arrive whenever they want to on that first day, as long as they're on the day that they have to be, and they can leave anytime they want to on the day of departure after it's over. We'll get them to the airport and pick them up, no problem. They're private transfers, by the way, so that's probably the only time they'll see a held-up sign, just to identify who they are.
Yeah, that's important.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Pick me up.
And then it's private transfers
Yeah.
from that point on. And so that's really how we get around from A to B, and
So it's kind of trains, planes, and automobiles, but take out the trains and put a ferry in there.
Occasionally, exactly.
quick.
And one nice thing too, I'm glad you said that because it prompted in my head too, that we realize that people don't like to be moving every day, and the hassle of packing and unpacking. So say, for example, in Umbria, we'll do if they did the 10 night, they'll have a few nights in Rome, and then we'll take the van up to Spello, and Spello will be like our hub. So we'll spend 3 or 4 nights there, and from there we do day trips to these incredibly gorgeous little villages that blow people away like fairy tales. Each one is a different fairy tale, but they'll be able to stay in one incredible place in Spello, which people love. So again, we're very sensitive to that to make sure that again, it's optimizing their time and their enjoyment. We're not about, and we do beach hopping, an incredible trip in Sardinia. We take the Zodiac along the coast, but we tell people too, even in the Philippines, obviously incredible beaches. We're not really a beach. We wouldn't want to be thought of as just a beach vacation. They lay on the beach all day. That's not what we do.
No.
You'll get an opportunity to see that and do that a little bit, but it's more about the general experience in each of the destinations, including the Philippines, by the way. And by the way, I just want to mention on the Philippines, and believe me, again, having done this a long time and calling in Kathy for a long time, I could probably, in my 30 years, I can probably count on one hand how many times the Philippines have come up as a standalone destination. But it's definitely gaining in popularity. People who go there are just blown away by it because it's incredibly beautiful. It's stunning in that way. So if you're going to be doing, and you want to take a trip, it's no different than going to New Zealand or Australia or Asia on any other trip. But I just want your guests, your visitors to keep that in mind. If you're looking for something truly exotic, that will blow you away. That trip, our Philippines trip, is our owner's favorite by a long shot.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it is. If I'm going to use the word luxury, that one would be considered luxury because it's peninsula hotels, which are gorgeous. I mean, some of these places that they go and the things they do are just over the top. And again, because we've got the connections, nobody's escorting us around. We're escorting ourselves around, which makes a huge difference.
It does really make a difference. Well, so you mentioned earlier, I think before we started our program today, that there was a presence on the social media. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, on that, if people wanted to look to see, is there like pictures or what's on the social media?
Well, there are pictures. In fact, I think it's six different platforms. I couldn't name them, but Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook,
all the ones.
You name it, YouTube. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, we're on all of them, and they're stunning, by the way. So is our website is stunning, too. But they're all stunning. They have incredible images, videos, just, content, verbiage, just, saying what you do there and what we do there and why that place. But they're fun to watch. I mean, they're really informative. I mean, they're meant to be informative, but the person who does all those is extremely well traveled, extremely well versed at putting those together. But so I encourage your viewers to please check those out because and if you Google our website, it's the name of the company is Raro, R-A-R-O. Uh-huh. Our website though is Travel Raro, one word. If you just Google Raro, you'll get all kinds of things from, all kinds of things that have nothing to do with us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but Travel Raro.
That does happen a lot.
It happens a lot.
Raro.
So Travel Raro, one word, is our website. And there, just browse through the website. I mean, there's so many different aspects to it. You can see, and if you click on the day-to-day of the itineraries, you'll see about 2 to 5 paragraphs of what happens each day, which is a lot of informative information. So it's very, very good. The accommodations are listed. Just a lot of good information on there.
Okay, this sounds wonderful. To me, it sounds like so personal. I mean, with 20 people isn't really that much. That's not even a classroom anymore of people, and they're all adults, which, I love kids like everybody else does, but it's nice to have adults on a trip together, absolutely. And you can create those bonds with others, and I like that idea too.
And that's part of the reason, to be honest with you. I mean, for what you just said. Adults, it's more of an adult conducive
really
vacation.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I mentioned the wine tastings and wineries, I mean, if your viewers are into wine, whether it's at the dinners or the wineries or the wine tastings that we do, we're talking primo stuff. Nothing is second rate. They're going to be blown away. If you look at our website and you look at some of the wineries that we do, I mean, and Google them, I mean, they're just gorgeous in themselves. They're gorgeous. So you're going to have some of the nicest wines. In fact, if a guest, even just to point this out too, if you're having dinner, we include beverages, so beer and wine. But if a guest wants to have a cocktail, as an example, at dinner during meal times, you couldn't sit at the bar at the hotel and just drink. We wouldn't do that. But at meal, I mean, that'd be a different book. But
Yes, it would.
but at meal times, within reason. So if somebody wanted a cocktail, whatever the restaurant is serving, you can have that. Not like an $80 bottle of shot or something.
No, but like a typical,
no
cocktail.
problem. So
Yeah.
again, it's just stress-free in that regard. And like you said, with the bonding, just talking about the menus, talking about the food, looking at what they do. I mean, everything about it and what you're seeing, because it'd be like I said, if I had never been to this country before and you're inviting me in to see, say, your local area or even Chicago, well, you might not be doing a big downtown thing, because if they wanted that, they could just do that.
Stay down.
Yeah.
So you would show them what you know is really cool. I mean, and some things that they would want to see.
Right.
But you would be doing it in a way that, because where you're going, they know you. It just makes for a unique, authentic experience.
I'd call it homey. Sorry, I
Yeah.
would call it
Yeah.
like a homey feeling.
Yeah.
It is. And how do you? How would
You can't
How
project
do I
that.
project that to somebody
Yeah.
that I'm selling? I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. I can say it.
Yeah, but all of those things that you mentioned, the smaller group, the personal attention when you get to somewhere that the people actually live there, the hole-in-the-wall
That's
restaurant and the great
exactly,
restaurant,
yeah.
the wineries, the where you're staying, all of those things spell out a trip that's different than the typical bigger trip. And some people really like, they feel safety with numbers. Other people
exactly
just
right.
want, more
Exploring.
personal.
Go see, exploring things. Go
Yeah.
see something different.
Yeah, right.
Come back home and go, I went and saw this and I saw that.
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
Yeah, well,
I mean, some
this
just want their
sounds-
passport stamped. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I mean, there's all
It's
different
just
kinds.
been there,
Yeah,
done that.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
And so this is a great option for people, I think particularly people who don't like the big crowds, don't want the big
Hotels
motor
and
vehicle and the
resorts,
hotels
yeah.
and the big cities only. So, and that's, a lot of people really want to do that. And I think those people want to take the trip independently, but they don't want to do it independently because they would have to drive. They need to find the hotel. They need to get their food. They don't know where to go.
And
this is kind of like that, but not that. It's someone else
Right.
planning
Exactly.
that personal trip for you.
the language
Yeah.
could be a problem for
Yeah.
them too.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a plug for Kathy too. I mean, for
Yeah.
traveling. I mean,
Right.
the bottom line: so many people think they're going to do it on their own, and they'll do their research, and you can do that. But you can be easily misled by what you think looks great, just like a picture of food.
Yeah.
You can
That looks
easily
Oh, exactly.
without knowing anything else.
Yeah,
And
right.
so Kathy's expertise is invaluable.
It is.
And again, in keeping with what you're saying, that's really kind of where we're coming in. We're helping Kathy give that same incredible experience, which is already done. I mean, that's what we've put together
what
on
you do.
purpose.
Yeah.
And that's why we're slowly building on that too.
Yeah.
But you're exactly, what you just said is exactly
Yeah.
right. It's all about, if you want an authentic experience that is going to be incredibly memorable, as authentic as you can get. And again, these people, they speak the language. I mean, they're from there very well. And and this what I mentioned earlier about, I went to high school right over here.
Yeah.
That people love that.
Well, they do.
Because it's like you're
because
with
you
the
actually
locals.
are from here and you really
Yeah,
know
right.
things.
You
Tom,
know this area.
You do.
Yeah.
And you can talk to them the entire time because they're with you. So any questions about not just the destination, but Europe as an example, or the country, or what's going on, they're human beings.
They can just talk to you
They
about
just
it.
talk to you about
Yeah.
it. Exactly. They love that.
Do you
Tom,
think-
thank you so much for coming in. Kathy, did you have one more question?
One more thing. Do you think that this is more for people that have been to Italy before and want to go back again, but for something different?
I think that is a very important aspect of it. I think if you have, and you definitely want to do something different,
I think
we're
that's
as
the niche.
ideal as you can get.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if people do want, like just as an example, I had just yesterday, travel advisor booked a young couple in their 20s, had never been out of the country before. I had done a webinar, and they were interested in Greece. And she thought, well, first-timers have never been out of the country, they want to do Greece. to go with somebody who's going to be with them the entire time, showing them
Yeah,
some
it's a good
unique
idea,
aspects.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
she said, this sounds ideal.
Yeah.
And I said, it is ideal. So
that's true.
it's both.
It goes both ways.
Exactly.
Okay,
Good.
well, just a thought.
Can I just
Wonderful.
mention the specials before
Oh,
we
yeah.
go?
Oh, yes.
Because I just want your viewers to know this because this is unique.
Okay.
And Kathy, because we've worked together, I've got some incredible specials that are only good. Well, we're on Valentine's Day, Saturday. We're having a promotion, a sale, and it includes all of our destinations. And so you can visit those on our website. But prior to that, from today right through Friday, Kathy has access to specials that will beat that sale. And so just as an example, there's a 7-night trip to Sardinia that is under $3,000 per person based on double occupancy. Again, we're talking all-inclusive. They just have to get there. So I mean, these prices are unheard of.
Yeah.
So roughly between $300 and $3,500, a guest can go for 7 nights to Umbria, Greece, or Sardinia.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fantastic.
but it has to be booked by this coming Friday.
Okay.
And so anyway, I just want to mention that to you.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
And don't forget to get a hold of Kathy because she knows all about this.
I
She
know
can
him.
find out even more. She knows Tom. She can find out more information. She can steer you in the right way to see what you want to do if this is meant for you. It sounds like it's meant for everybody. But
Yeah, me too.
Kathy, you want to tell people how to get a hold of
Sure.
you?
We're in Worth, Illinois at 6946 West 111th Street, Suite 1, right on the corner of 111th and Worth Avenue. We are open Monday through Fridays, 9 to 5. We can stay late during the week. Come in Saturdays if that's easier for you. It's not a problem. Please give us a holler at 708-448-6560, and we'll help you run away with Tom.
Thank you. Thank you both very
This sounds
much.
good. Oh, you're very welcome.
I enjoy this. It's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
enjoy
cool.
it too. I love it. So I hope you love it too. I hope you go and plan your trip. Give Kathy a call, and she'll hook you up with a great trip, whatever you want. You are the boss of your trip. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you next month on The Travel Show. Bye for now.
But